Before we begin our installation to the device, to the vehicle itself, we first want to break down exactly what's going to be included in your package. What you see in front of you right now, it's going to be everything that's going to be included. First, you have, like the main unit, which is going to be, the GPS unit. You're going to have your power harness. That's going to give you, like a good slack. So that way, once we do install it into the vehicle, you'll have the ability to go ahead and be able to tuck it away pretty much anywhere, like in like the general area. And then finally, towards the end is where you're gonna have what we like to call our quick OBD connector. And what this is it's gonna give you a pin for pin pass through. There's gonna be the male connection that's gonna go into like the female port, the OBD that's on the vehicle. So that's just gonna hook up straight into the vehicle, and essentially what's gonna happen is this new piece right here, that's gonna be the new OBD port for your vehicle. As I mentioned, it is a pin for pin pass through. So once this device is installed, your customers will be able to take their vehicles through service and be able to plug up, the diagnostic tools without any issues. Okay, so once again, you have your main component, which is your GPS unit, your power harness with plenty of slack for you, and then towards the end is where you're gonna have like the OBD piece, where our quick connect OBD piece.
So now we're at the car. Before you actually go ahead and do the actual physical installation to these devices, there's two things that you have to make sure that you're able to locate. The first thing that it's going to be the OBD port of your vehicle. Essentially, pretty much the location to these OBD ports are going to be almost around all the same area. Either you'll have one that is front facing, just like you have here. For this example, we have a Chevy Malibu 2015. But pretty much like I said, the OBD ports are going to be located generally in the same area. So you will have this type of connection that you'll be able to plug in the quick OBD connector. The next thing that you also have to look out for is going to be the VIN barcode. Now there are some vehicles that are going to have a VIN barcode, and there are others, for example, any GM cars, that's going to have a QR code like this. And the reason why you do need some type of like a VIN identification is so therefore when you are doing the process with the installation app, you'll probably be able to scan the barcode or the QR code for the VIN. You will also need to scan the barcode to like the serial number of the device as well. Okay, so now getting on with the actual installation itself, you want to make sure, like I said, you first locate the OBD port. In this case, this port is relatively easy to get to. So what you're going to do is just make sure that you plug in your device, make sure it's nice and tight. And once you do have plugged it in, you want to make sure that your device is showing some type of like a power connection. For this instant, we do have already a green light so far that is flashing. There are going to be a couple of more lights that are also going to begin flashing once the device does start to reboot itself. As far as the actual lights itself, it is going to vary depending on the type of devices that you are installing, but pretty much the concept is all going to be the same. It is going to be outlined in the installation guide that does come included with your order. So you'll be able to go ahead and see exactly what is going to be like, like the light activity that you're supposed to be expecting. Now, once you have installed the actual GPS device, the next step would be to just begin to do the actual installation process with the install app. That video can be found in a separate link. But once you already have the installation app down and you already have confirmed that you do get a valid locate, the next step would be to actually go ahead and hide this device. Now, at the end of the day, as far as what's going to be the best method to hide this device, it all going to depend on where you feel most comfortable with. Now, there are some installers or some porters or some service tech that do know the vehicles a whole lot better than what I do. So anything that I'm about to tell you right now is just something that I've seen in the past, and I'm basing all of this on my past experience. So if you want to go ahead and take these tips, like you are more than welcome to do so. But once you do start getting into your vehicles, you are going to notice that there are going to be, much better places that probably I'm not able to see, from this angle. Or if, obviously if there's, like a different model, you'll probably be able to go into like a different section of the car. Now, one of the best practices that you can do, you first have to check exactly to see how much slack you actually have under here. You can either go, try to get in somewhere under the dash itself to see exactly what would be most, the best place to actually install this vehicle. One thing that you have to consider is that you have to make sure that the installation to this device is as flushed as possible. That's the reason why we do provide for you inside each bag. We do provide for you 2 zip ties, so you'll be able to go ahead and zip tie these devices onto, whether it be like a metal harness under the dashboard, or if you want to go ahead and zip tie it to some other cables that are also included in the vehicle under the dashboard as well. Another thing that I do recommend is, if you would like, you can ask, whether it be like your supervisor, or if you're the one in charge of the materials. I do recommend buying double-sided tape. I do recommend 3M 10-pound grain minimum. I have noticed in the past that these 10-pound grain minimum double-sided tape do hold up well over time, and also do hold up well with heat as well. So as far as installing it goes, like I said, you can go ahead and either hide it somewhere under the dash right here, or if you have access to go ahead and open up the actual kick panels that are on the side of on the vehicle, you can do that as well. Now remember, each vehicle is going to be different, but pretty much the installation is all going to be the same. The one thing that you have to make sure that you get right is just to make sure that the actual OBD connection is tight. In this instant, I'm pulling it hard and it's not coming off. So that's always like a good sign. You might have some extra cables here. These cables, you don't have to worry about them. If you want to go ahead, and cut these cables off with some scissors, you can go ahead, can do so. But pretty much these cables you don't have to worry about. The only really cables that you do have to keep in mind is just the red and the black that's already connected to the DOBD connection. So that's it. That's pretty much, the installation to these devices. Like I said, you can hide them in the kick panel. You can run them all the way through here, or you can just get creative and find a way to hide them under here. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that the installation is as flush as possible. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.